Good afternoon. It is my pleasure on behalf of the Fort Bend ISD Board of Trustees and the staff to welcome you this afternoon to the dedication of Ronald Thornton Middle School. My name is JEANNA SNIFFIN, and I'm the proud principal of Thornton Middle School. Thank you. We are excited to have you with us today. We are going to begin our program with an invocation from Dr. Joe Samuel Ratcliffe.
May we pray. When our eyes are too full of our own visions and our ears are too full of our own sounds, will you break through the narrow constructs of our minds and open them that we might be able to behold all that is good and true and beautiful. We affirm the naming of this school after a brother beloved, an educator, a lover of people, and we thank God for the many lives that he not only impressed, but impacted. May everything our hands touch prosper. Amen.
Will you please rise for the presentation of the colors by the Ridgepoint High School JROTC, followed by the pledges to the flags by Lauren Kaminsky, one of our pals here at RTMS.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. I'd like to thank all the students for being here today and making this day possible. I would now like to invite to the stage a close friend of the Thornton family, Miss Barbara Tucker. She is going to sing America the Beautiful. That was beautiful. Thank you, Mrs. Tucker. It is now my great pleasure to introduce the Thornton Middle School Choir under the direction of Mrs. Veronica CAVAZOS. The choir will sing our school song, which was written by Mr. Ronald Thornton, Jr. Thank you, students, for that fantastic performance. I will now turn the program over to the Fort Bend ISD Superintendent, Dr. Charles Dupree, who will introduce some special guests and share a few remarks.
Thank you, Jeanna. Oh my goodness, this is an amazing day. We're here to dedicate the district's 15th middle school. For many of you who are here today, I know that's very hard to imagine, because many of you worked in this district when the district was much, much smaller. But it is a privilege to be with you today, especially because we're dedicating it to a man who has a strong legacy, and we're thrilled that his legacy will live on forever in Fort Bend ISD with his name on this school, Ronald Thornton. You know, as superintendent, it's a unique experience to dedicate a building to an individual who I actually knew personally and worked with when I was CFO here many years ago. And so it touches my heart to see, of course, his wife on stage, and you're going to hear from her in a few minutes, but also so many others along the way who worked with him at Willow Ridge High School and in Fort Bend ISD. So thank each of you for making time to be with us for this very special occasion. I'm going to introduce a number of special guests. I'm going to ask you to hold your applause until I kind of get through them all, just to kind of move through them. But we're going to start out with a group that's very important to me, my bosses, the Board of Trustees. And I'm going to tell you, the board they're the individuals who took action to name this school for Ronald Thornton because they had a foresight. They've approved the district's profile of a graduate several years ago, or last year. And the purpose of that profile of a graduate is to demonstrate what we expect our students to know and be able to do when they leave Fort Bend ISD. Things like being a compassionate citizen, being an excellent communicator, being a collaborator. It's 7 different traits. And the interesting thing is all of those things align perfectly with the legacy of Ronald Thornton. So let me introduce our Board of Trustees. First of all, our Board President, Jason Burdine. We have also Trustees KP George. We're going to clap anyway, go right ahead. Grail James. It's just in us. Jim Rice. And Kristen Tassan. I've also mentioned that Michele Thornton is on the stage with us today. She's going to speak in just a few minutes. And I would like any family members or close friends of Ronald Thornton to please stand and be recognized too. Is that everybody else that's here? Awesome. That is perfect. Thank you all for being here. I also want to recognize that we have Congressman Al Green with us today. Congressman, thank you for making time to be with us today. And on the stage with us, we have State Representative Alma Allen. Alma? And I'm going to invite her to the stage to make a few quick remarks on her behalf and to present a certificate to Mrs. Thornton.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you very much. When I look over the audience, I see many faces that I know, and I know that you appreciate this day. What a wonderful, wonderful day. If the school was named after me, I tell you, I would be excited. He would be excited. You see, I'd be in my car driving up and down at night, and when my friends came to town, I'd drive them out here so they could see it. It's awesome. I want to say thank you. Congressman, would you come up with me, please? We always honor each other. He honors me when he speaks. I wouldn't dare speak without honoring him. And so I wanted to say on behalf of the great state of Texas, I'd like to present a certificate to Ms. Thornton. I've been knowing her a long time, too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And let you know that on behalf of the great state of Texas, we appreciate all of the wonderful things that he did for children. I know the awesome job. I was a principal and a teacher for 39 years. And so I know how awesome it was to have all of those duties and then have a school named after you and be remembered. And so I just wanted to say, show my appreciation to you as always. You've always been a wonderful, strong individual. And so I want to present this.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Where's the congressman?
Right behind us.
I'll stand on this side.
Come on. Do your. Go ahead.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to say just a very brief word. I'm reminded of the words of Ruth Smeltzer. She called to our attention that some measure their lives by days and years, others by heartthrobs, passions, and tears. But the surest measure under God's Son is what for others in your lifetime have you done.
Yes.
I want to thank all of you, and especially the school board members and Mr. Thornton for what he has done in his lifetime for all of these students and many others. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're working on the sound. They turned it up. Is that any better? Okay. Thank you. All right, I got a few more folks to introduce to you today. Sitting over in this direction are several members of the district's executive leadership team. These are the folks that work closely with me to oversee the operations of the district each day. First of all, we have Dr. Joe Rodriguez, our chief of schools. We also have Veronica Sofer, our chief communications officer. And Oscar Perez, the district's chief operations officer. We also have Mary Ellen Idson. She's the assistant superintendent responsible for the oversight of Thornton Middle School. And finally, it's always important on these days that we acknowledge the individuals who were instrumental in the design and construction of this beautiful facility educating students for the 21st century. So I'm going to acknowledge our architectural services. The firm that designed this building is IBI Group. They're represented today by Mr. Blair Hamilton. Blair? The structural engineer is CJG Engineers, and the civil engineer was Brooks and Sparks, and they're represented today by Scott Greer. Scott? Mechanical, electrical, and plumbing engineers, Lee Trung and Yu engineers, represented by Sam Lee. Sam? It's over this direction. And the general contractor that built this building is Satterfield and Ponticus, represented by Charlie Fote. Charlie, back over this direction. He's also joined by Eric Blankenship and John Marshall. They did a phenomenal job on this entire complex. It's also critical that we acknowledge the members of the FBISD team, the design and construction folks who manage this project. Today they're represented by our project managers, Gaurav Agrawal and Kevin Hitchcock. Here we go. You know, we're dedicating this building, and we've already heard remarks about what's going to happen in this building, about educating students. In Fort Bend ISD, our mission is we exist to inspire and equip students to pursue futures beyond what they can imagine. I think anyone in this room who knew Ronald Thornton knew that he did exactly that every day. So many people today are still actively engaged and supportive in the Willow Ridge High School community in Fort Bend ISD because they were connected to the band that Mr. Thornton led for so many years. He was a legendary band leader at Texas Southern University and at Willow Ridge High School. He led his students inside and outside the classroom, teaching them music as well as many, many life skills. The words honor, pride, discipline, and excellence hung on a banner in his band hall to serve as a reminder to his students. He served as the Willow Ridge High School band director from 1988 until his passing in 2009. And under his leadership, the Willow Ridge Band excelled in numerous competitions and participated in the Rose Bowl and the Macy's Day Thanksgiving Parade. And I want to talk about that briefly because that's one of my most memorable aspects of Mr. Thornton, honestly, is I remember going to many football games and Battle of the Bands where they would turn it on and dominate the show band competitions. I mean, they could put on a show, but the very next day could go to the UIL classical band style and make straight ones across the board. That is my image of Ronald Thornton. He grew those students. He helped them to turn it on, turn it off, and be all they could be every day to the best, all levels. So I was so proud to have known him. At this point, what I'd like to do is turn the microphone over to Ronald's wife, Michele Thornton, and she'll come over and share a few thoughts on behalf of herself, and she's got a lot of thoughts, and the family. Michele, come on down.
Wow, 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 wow. The love for the legend continues so. I was asked to be the keynote speaker, hesitated, but heard the voice, yes. Now, here is the key. 8 years, 9 months, 21 days later. Will all Forest Brook Jaguars, TSU Ocean, Willow Ridge Eagle bands, and auxiliaries stand? Action. please come forward? Keep standing. Keep standing. Keep standing. On you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. No, stay right there. This is for you. Please stand. Go ahead. This was recorded, Mr. Thornton's last performance. Thank you. Superintendent Dupree, Fort Bend ISD Board, present and past, Fort Bend Administration, Congressmen, state, and city officials, Principal SNIFFIN and staff, administration and staff of Forest Brook, Texas Southern University, and Willow Ridge, Reverend Dr. Joe Samuel Ratliff, Maestro Benjamin and Mary Butler, extended family, friends, and my entire family, especially my mother, Mrs. Roy. Thank you for your heartfelt, overwhelming love to have this name ranked high, Ronald Thornton Middle School. Mr. Thornton would always ask me, did I do something good to help somebody? Which can be referred to that powerful old spiritual, if I can help somebody, but for him, change the beginning words to say, did I help somebody? I always said yes. You've shown me again how his statement lives within you because you are here today. Before I close, I want to acknowledge this person who put the extended ED on the word molded of your legendary band director for 35 years, Maestro Benjamin J. Butler II. Would you please stand? And now, Ronald Bernard Thornton's lifetime graph from the three institutions that changed so many young lives in years as a son band director, mentor, counselor, father-like to so many, frat brother, friend, and more. (1974 to 1981), Forest Brook, North Forest Independent School District, 7 years. 1981 through 1988, Texas Southern University, 7 years. 1988 to 2009, Willow Ridge School, Fort Bend ISD, 3 times 7 years. Monday, December the 5th, 2016, 7 years, the call. Around 2 p.m. from Deputy Superintendent informing me that the middle school name will be in the name after my husband. I totally lost it. Remember the key? 8 years, 9 months, 21 days. Mr. Thornton, Alpha 5, Alpha Flight 1204 2009. You have finished your course. At this time, I'd like to ask Jade Bowman and Marjorie Roy Miles to please come up. As these two are approaching the stage, Jade Bowman is my cousin, and it was through my sister that's standing here with the vision to have her to do exactly what I never thought this would have turned out to be. She is in school to be an artist, and thank God she's in our family. She's gonna really be doing a lot of pictures now. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you your Ronald Bernard Thornton's portrait. Jade, you really don't know how much you inspired me, because I know when it came to my house, I wouldn't open my eyes. And my grandson, Tyron, told me, Nana, you need to open your eyes. And my daughter even said, Mama, you need to open your eyes. My son has never seen it, so I know he's in awe. He lives on the north side of town, but that's okay. But I still love him. I still love my daughter-in-law as well. But yes, this is the artist of our family, Miss Jade Bowman, ladies and gentlemen. Thunder Pride never dies.
Thank you for sharing those memories with us, Mrs. Thornton. Mr. Thornton's students were blessed to have him as a teacher and a mentor, and we are happy to carry on his legacy. I would now ask that our board president, Jason Burdine, come forward to officially dedicate Ronald Thornton Middle School.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Sniffin. I can't tell you how honored I am to stand before you today. It's such a blessing to have the opportunity to be a part of such a special dedication. On behalf of the board, I'm honored to dedicate this new school in honor of the life and legacy of Ronald Thornton. I want to thank Dr. Dupree, members of the Board of Trustees, and the Fort Bend ISD staff for their part in making the opening of this school possible. This campus is more than a structure, it's a community, a gathering place with a unique and critical mission to create a school where children and adults work productively to become lifelong learners and contributing citizens. On behalf of the Board of Trustees of the Fort Bend Independent School District, I officially dedicate this facility as the Ronald Thornton Middle School on this, the 21st day of October 2018. May it serve our community with pride, and may it exist to inspire and equip all students to pursue futures beyond what they can imagine for many years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burdine. At this time, I would like to introduce our Ronald Thornton Middle School staff. So if you would please stand and be honored. This is part of our Thundercat family. And before we close, I just want to give you a little history behind our mascot, the Thundercat. About a year ago, when we began planning our mascot and school colors, I learned many amazing things in the stories you heard today about Mr. Ronald Thornton. And as we were putting together the mascot ballot, we told the story to all the students that would be zoned to Ronald Thornton the following year. And we told the story of his passion for his music and his love for people and his pride and perseverance. And we told the story of all the colleges he attended, including Prairie View A&M, where he was a Panther, and Texas Southern University, where he's a Tiger, and University of Houston, where he finished up as a Cougar and got his master's degree. And I told the students the stories of the Willow Ridge High School band and how powerful it was. And as a child and a student, I remember hearing the sounds as the band entered the stadium, and with its thunderous sounds and the tubas and the bass drums, it echoed. The picture in the display booth has a picture of them in the Astrodome, and that's where I believe I saw them for the first time, and it just echoed throughout the whole stadium. And so that's where the word thunder came from. It just seemed right. There were a lot of options to put at the end of thunder, but cats seemed to be the best word to honor his legacy and his education. And so when we put the students up to vote, it was very clear. The students wanted to be Thundercats to honor Ronald Thornton and his legacy. And later I found out from Mrs. Thornton that he had a nickname called Big Thunder. And then I knew the right mascot had been chosen. It has been an amazing journey for me as a principal, and I am proud and honored to be able to lead this campus and his legacy. So our motto is Thunder Pride Never Dies. You can look us up on Twitter, #TPND. So the way it works is we say Thunder Pride, and our audience, no matter who it is, yells back, Never Dies. Yeah, so let's practice. Thunder Pride? Never dies. You got it. You got it. This concludes our dedication program. I want to thank you for coming out and being here with us today on this very special day. At this time, please join us for refreshments in the back, and feel free to walk around. We have PAL students here that would love to take you on a tour of our beautiful building. Thank you again. and have a wonderful afternoon.